Are you in the dreaded drama triangle? My name's Shane. I'm a clinical psychologist, and today I want to share with you the dreaded drama triangle. You might have heard of it. It comes in other names. There's the Cartman triangle or the drama triangle. There's only two names. There you go. It's a very distinct pattern. It's a triangle, of course, so there's three parts. There's three roles. There's the rescuer, there's the victim, there's the persecutor. And we'll spend a little time and go through all of that and speak about what that actually means. It's interesting because in therapy, I'm yet to encounter a client that I've shared this with that hasn't resonated with it. I think every client that hears about this drama triangle thinks to themselves, yeah, that resonates with me. I actually see myself in that pattern. And it's very interesting because the first one I tend to talk about, it's not really in any order, I don't think, but is the rescuer, because usually that's where the problems start. And the rescuer is the type of person who might like to help others. In doing so, likes to put themselves in the better than position, makes themselves useful, helpful, takes on the challenges of other people. Other people have problems, they take them on, sometimes described as a martyr. And so the rescuer likes to take the problems of other people and make it their own. Over the years, I've overlaid that proverb onto this drama triangle, and the proverb is, give a man a fish and he eats for a day, teach a man to fish and he eats for a lifetime. And so teaching a man to fish is the secondary part, which we'll talk about later. But the giving a man a fish and he eats for a day is the rescuer in a nutshell, really. And you can see that in that pattern of giving a man a fish and having him eat for a day, there's a whole bunch of problems that could emerge from that. The first is you become the person giving the fish. So as the rescuer, you're the one needing to give the fish. And so you're doing the work for the other person, which is okay, I guess. It's charitable, potentially. But a problem can emerge if that person then becomes dependent on your fish, or you start to feel a sense of responsibility for giving that person fish. It starts to fall on you. It starts to get heavy. And so that's one part. The other part is, of course, if you're giving fish rather than teaching the person how to fish, then that person becomes disempowered, never really learns how to fish on their own. And so you're disempowering the other person by, quote unquote, helping them. And so you can see how that could become a problem. And this burden is heavy. And so what can happen then is we can slide into the victim role. And when we slide into the victim role, we start to feel powerless, stuck, annoyed. I have heard it said that powerlessness and rage is positively correlated. And so in that victim role, at first we feel stuck, helpless, powerless, and then we start to get angry and resentful. And then what happens is we move through that anger across to the persecutor side, and we start to lash out, lash in. We start to implode, explode. We might get annoyed at the person. We might call them names. We might call ourselves names. We might drink to cope. We might do any number of things. The persecutor is sometimes also called perpetrator because we go from being, ironically, we go from being the rescuer, the helper. We go through this process of becoming a victim and then get spat out the other side as a perpetrator or a persecutor. So it's this funny inversion that occurs. And the whole system, you can imagine, is boundaryless. There's no boundaries in this system. There's no limits. There's no sense of, well, if I give the person a fish, I got to keep giving it. If I teach them, there's none of that. There's none of that wisdom. There's none of that limiting, boundary sort of goodness that can come from having boundaries. There isn't any of that. It's a boundaryless system. Before I move on, I'm trying to think if there's any other aspects of those three roles that are worth mentioning. So the rescuer is the helper, the person who wants to be the helper, takes on the challenges, takes on the responsibility of the other person. That's another interesting point. Takes on the responsibility of the other person. which is another internal boundary issue. Then the victim, the word victim, sometimes clients don't like hearing that word. It's not meant to be inflammatory. It's really just more an expression of being stuck and at the mercy of, let's say, another force. And so you become at the mercy of other people when you're the victim. Oh, sometimes I'll hear people say, I do all these things to help people and no one ever helps me. And that's an interesting pattern in and of itself, worth exploring, because if you present yourself as someone who's capable, someone who's able to do things, then why would another person help you? Why would they even think they could help you? They probably don't think you need help. They think you have your life together. Look how good you are at catching fish. You're amazing. Why would you need fish caught for you? You can do it so easily. That's one side. The other side is maybe they're selfish and they don't care. Maybe there's that too. I don't know. And so that's a entry-level exploration, I suppose, of the drama triangle. But there is another triangle, the empowerment dynamic, it's called, by David Emerald, I believe his name is. He wrote a book, The Power of TED, T-E-D, which is the empowerment dynamic. And he speaks about this alternative triangle. So rather than rescuing, we become the coach. Rather than being in the victim role, we become the creator. And rather than being the persecutor, we become the challenger or the clarifier. I like that. I like both of those, challenger, clarifier. And this is a nice flip. It flips. The basis of it is from victim to creator. I think that's the basis of the flip. The main component of the first triangle is the victim role, and what that manifests is the rescuer and the persecutor. And then the creator manifests the coach, because you teach people how to treat you, and you also teach people and empower them. As a coach, you don't do the things for them. You actually let them do the things. And then the creator comes up with solutions, rather than saying there is no solution, there's nothing I can do, I haven't thought of it yet, or maybe there's something I haven't considered, or something like that. And then the clarifier challenger is a beautiful tool, because we are curious and we seek clarity rather than knowing. The persecutor has a tendency to know and accuse and be certain of things. So if I'm persecuting or accusing someone, then I'm judging and I'm certain and I know. Whereas the clarifier challenger is curious and open, and in doing so might even ask some Socratic questions to get the person to reflect on their own situation. And these roles all link together, because the clarifier challenger can also kind of move very easily into the coach position, because we're clarifying, let's say, the limits of our role. It's like, well, I'll help you catch fish, I'll teach you, but I'm not going to catch the fish for you. And there's some wisdom in that, and some boundaries. Well, wisdom firstly, because if I catch the fish for you, then you'll never learn. And if you don't learn, well, how are you going to look after yourself? I'm not going to be around all the time, and so one day you're going to have to catch your own fish. And so there is some wisdom to that. Also, limits around how I'd like to be treated. I'm not a fish dispensing machine, and so I think I would like a little more respect, thanks, or whatever it might be. And so, that's the framework, the drama triangle, and a little bit about the antidote, the empowerment dynamic. I hope that was useful. Maybe something from those models might resonate with you. Maybe something particularly from the second, more boundaried framework might resonate, and you might bring a little bit of challenger, clarifier into your world, or a bit of coaching, teaching people how to treat you. Thank you for your attention.